You're listening to episode 53
of This Thing of Ours podcast.
I'm very uncomfortable right now in jeans. Honestly, people who wear jeans around the house, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I don't know how. I have home clothes. My home clothes are sweatpants, a raggedy big sweater, or a big shirt. That's my home clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wear jeans pretty much all day long. Doesn't bother me. Maybe I'm just used to it. That's just my norm. Your norm is being in loose, baggy clothes around the house. So when you're not, it feels unnatural.
Do you guys have home clothes? What is your norm that you wear around the house?
Yeah. I don't know. I've always I guess basically I was raised to just get ready in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Just in case you go somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what you have planned. Just get up, get ready, get dressed, and then whatever happens, you're already good to go. You can just get up and leave.
But then you end up washing your jeans more, and then you also end up like with more laundry.
Yeah.
To wash. If you have home clothes, those are your set clothes that you can wear around the house. You don't end up with all these clothes.
Yeah. I see it from that perspective as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you don't necessarily need to wash your jeans after one wash.
I heard you're only supposed to...
You know what I mean? After wearing them once, you don't need to wash them right away. Unless you actually did something that got them dirty.
I heard you're actually only supposed to wash your jeans, like, I think it's once a week or every month or something.
What?
That's what I heard on the radio.
Okay, that's a little excessive. That is a little excessive. I'll wear them 2 times, majority of the time. Sometimes 3, depending. Like, if I literally only wear them... Okay, so I have, like, work clothes that I actually wear, right? Mm-hmm. So if I come home and I put my jeans on quickly to maybe just go to the grocery store and I'm literally in them for an hour or 2, then fine. That can pass as like a third day sort of thing. But yeah.
So basically you're saying that as long as you don't go nowhere, you're okay with wearing your jeans more than like twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, something embarrassing happened to me last week. I'm so embarrassed. But I have to tell the story because when I went inside the store, the girl was like, don't worry, it happens. It happened to me like sometime last year too. So now I don't feel as bad. It happens to everyone.
It happened to me too.
Okay, here's what happened, okay? Last weekend, we were going to film, and then we just got lazy, and we're like, you know what? I want to go to the hair store. I want to get some products. I was going to get my hair done. So I was like, which is straight now. So that's kind of like why I wanted to prepare for this week. So I was like, okay, I want to go to the hair store. So we decided to bring Trumpet with us. But we're like, let's walk him around the block first. So I was wearing, would you say my jeans were baggy?
They're like loose fitting on the leg, but I guess around waist and butt area, they kind of slim out to emphasize that area.
What are you trying to say? Were they tight around the area or were they loose? I felt like they were loose. Did you think they were loose?
Not loose, no.
Did you think they were too tight?
I feel like they didn't have... So they were the type of jeans that don't have like any taper. Mm-hmm. So like... because they fit around your waist and your butt, but then they don't taper in around the legs, so they just like remain that size. That's why they feel loose around your leg area.
No, but I felt like they were loose everywhere, like around my waist and my butt area. But anyways, so I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I kind of want to put on jeans, but I don't want to put on anything too tight. So that's why I chose those ones. Mm-hmm. And I got them from not HomeSense. I got them from Winners. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I love these jeans. They're actually very comfortable. So And they were a stretchy material, which makes it even more embarrassing. So anyways, we walked our dog around the block. Didn't think anything of it. We got into the car, then we drove to the gas station, got some gas. I got out to get myself a lottery ticket. And as I was walking inside, I noticed that there was this younger couple in the car. And I opened the door, and as I looked back, I felt like someone was staring at me. So I looked back, and they were laughing. And they were laughing, like, in my direction. So I was like, why are they laughing at me? Whatever. I'm like, it's in my head. So I get inside, and, whatever. I did what I had to do. I said, oh, let me use the bathroom. So I asked the guy if I can use the gas station bathroom. As I was using the bathroom, I was like, is that a hole in my pants? I'm like, no, can't be. So like, I put my finger right through the pants, and I was like, oh my gosh, there is a hole in. It wasn't just a hole. Yes,
it was a rip.
It was a rip right down the butt crack, like right down the damn butt crack.
And like, when did it happen?
I don't know.
Did it happen when when we were walking Trumpet around the block? Was it already there?
I didn't feel no breeze.
Like, it could have happened when you sat down into the car.
Maybe right. I rubbed up against something.
I don't know.
But anyways, it was so embarrassing because I was wearing red underwear. And
they weren't underwear. They were not full. What do you call that?
Full, I don't know.
Full butt underwear.
Okay, get it. I get it, Kurtis. I think they understand what we're trying to say, okay? I think they understand. But anyway, so like, I get up in the mirror now. Okay, once I finish washing my hands, whatever, and I realize there's a rip in my jeans, I look in the mirror and I turn around and you can see my butt cheeks. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they were laughing at me. That is so embarrassing. And we had plans to go to the park and walk around and just, enjoy the nice sunny weekend that we had. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So lucky for me, I was wearing a baggy sweater. So I kind of just, but it wasn't really that baggy, but it was like loose fitting too.
And it was like long enough that you could, if you wanted to, cover that area.
Yeah. So I get into the car and I'm like, Kurtis, we need to stop at a store so I can change my pants. He was like, why? I'm like, I have a rip in my pants. And that young couple were laughing at me. And you know what's funny too? When I was in line, that young girl came inside the store and like I saw her kind of giggle and I was like, why did she come inside just to laugh at me? Like, what's wrong with this girl? So I kind of like move up closer to the cash. And then I felt like she wanted to tell me, but I felt like maybe she didn't know how, because when I walked back out of the store, I saw her and her boyfriend pointing at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they were looking at me. It was because I had a rip in my pants and I didn't know.
What if they took a picture?
See, and that's something I'm afraid of. Like with social media and everything, the first thing people are willing to do is pull up their phone. I'm so afraid of doing anything embarrassing or having something on my face and then someone pulls out their phone and videotaping me. Yeah. And then you go viral because of that. Like, it's so embarrassing. Like, there's been times where I've seen other women with ripped pants and I tell them, like, I just want to let you know that your pants ripped. And like it's such an embarrassing feeling. So anyways, we went to a thrift store. And I was like, excuse me, miss, do you mind if I just wear these jeans out? I ripped my pants. And that's when the girl was like, oh, don't worry about that. That happens so often. And then after, like when I get to the cash, she was like, where did your pants rip? Let me see. And then like, because I had the pants like ready to be thrown out. And she goes, I can throw those out for you. She's like, oh, show me where they ripped. So whatever. So I showed her. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like there was no like, when sometimes when pants rip, there's like that string that still connects the pants. There was nothing, nothing. It was just a a rip. Why do jeans always have to rip right there? Like, I noticed that on other people too. When they have ripped jeans, it's always right down the butt crack. It's like, come on, companies. You already charge like $43 for a pair of jeans. Mm-hmm. At least put a little bit of extra security right there.
In that area.
Yeah, put an extra fabric, like... So if it rips for the first section rips, at least there's an extra piece of fabric that will block it. How would you tell someone that they have a hole in their pants and right in the middle?
You see, I always tell people random things. Like if I see someone that just ate lunch and they got some stuff stuck in their teeth, I'm gonna tell them instantly.
How do you tell someone that though?
Be like, you got something in your teeth.
That's how you say it.
And like, it's funny because like they're in the middle of like talking to you, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like just waiting for your moment to like step in to say something because they're in the middle of whatever they're saying and they want to finish what they're saying. And you're just like not even hearing them because you're like,
their mouth.
You're waiting for them to finish to be like, sorry, but you have something stuck in your teeth. Yeah.
Their reaction is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
But yeah, no, a guy I work with actually, it's funny because I thought he had something on his nose. Mm-hmm. So I showed up for work. I think it was last week anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I showed up and he came out and I saw him and I was like, I went like this. You got some on your nose. And he's like, oh no. It's actually a scab because my dog pulled me and I wasn't expecting it. And he smashed his face on the ground.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it was like a scab. Mm. But yeah. No, I always tell people. Mm-hmm. Because I would want someone to tell me. If someone noticed something, if I had something on my face, if I had something in my teeth, like tell me. Because I don't want to go around looking like an idiot. Mm-hmm. I would rather feel like an idiot once to the one person that's actually being nice to me than for people to just be laughing at me all day long.
Yeah.
Like, no. You tell people?
Remember that time when we were in Hope Depot and you're like, Amelia, that girl has ripped pants. And go tell her. I'm like, you tell her.
But
do you think it would be awkward if a male told another female that she had a ripped pants?
Yeah, and that was the thing. I didn't want to tell her because I felt like it would be awkward. Be like, why are you looking at my ass? Why are you looking at my butt? Mm-hmm. So it was just something that like I turned my head and it was just like boom in my face, right? Mm-hmm. So I noticed it, but I didn't want to go tell her. So I told you to go tell her.
I told the cashier to go tell her.
It's embarrassing. Like,
it is.
Why not tell people? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, okay. It's awkward and the person might be embarrassed in that moment, but it's better than them getting home and being like, I wonder how long it was like that and who noticed and da-da-da-da-da. Why didn't anybody say anything? All those things.
That's like a social experiment. Like purposely wearing ripped pants out in public to see who will say something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be, actually.
I would never do it. I don't think I'd be the one to do that social experiment, but it's crazy how that couple didn't say anything and she came into the store. Mm-hmm. She didn't buy anything. It wasn't even like she came in, she bought gas. She didn't do anything. Like she literally just came in the store, stood behind me.
To take a picture.
You think so? Stop trying to scare me. That's not funny. Now I'm going to be paranoid.
Did she have her phone out?
I don't know. I can't remember. I was just like, why is she standing so close to me? What's going on? So welcome back to this Thing of Ours podcast.
Where we talk about all life's highs and lows.
And everything in between. How you doing? How you living? Mental health check-in. I hope your week was fabulous. Kurtis, you had a really interesting week last week. You went away on a work trip. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was scheduled to go, and I was asked to go to basically what it was called was Mercedes EQ experience. So what it was people from all over Canada, and I don't know if they're doing this in other countries around the world, but we were like, we had people flown in from BC, Alberta. One guy was from Nova Scotia. But yeah, there was people from all different provinces across Canada coming down to Toronto to go to this event, this seminar. My work loaned me a Mercedes to drive, which I've never, like I've got to drive them around the city here in Ottawa, but I've never taken one for a long trip like that, which was kind of cool. And it was nice. It was a comfortable ride.
What's it like driving like a Mercedes? Is it a smooth ride? Because when I think of Mercedes, that's kind of like what I think of.
Yes. Yeah. So like the suspension is built a little bit different than, I guess, quote unquote, average vehicle. They are considered luxury, right? So you do have more luxurious feel to the ride. It is a smoother ride. The engine is more powerful.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say that. They do have more horsepower, more torque, and things like that. So the ride up was fun.
I bet. Was it sunny? I don't even remember.
It was sunny off and on. Like it was like kind of that like partly cloudy vibe. And there was one area along the ride where it started raining a little bit, but didn't last long. But anyway, yeah, the vehicle I had was nice. It was a nice ride. And it was nice that they did that because they had a full tank for me to leave, right? I did have to top up the gas later on, which the premium fuel in those is expensive.
I bet you had to pay premium prices.
I did. It was $1.98 per liter.
Are you serious?
$1.98 per liter. So I know in the States, gas, I think, is around $3 a gallon, and I was paying $2 a liter.
Wow.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So does all Mercedes take premium gas?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. They are more powerful engines. They do require that better fuel. So it's 91 octane, right? So it is different fuel.
Okay.
And it does require it.
So what was Toronto like though? Because like I can't even imagine the time you left, the amount of traffic there probably was by the time you got there.
Well, okay, so I left on a Sunday. I left. What time was it? It was around 1 o'clock. I think I finally ended up leaving.
It doesn't matter if it's a Sunday, a Monday, Tuesday. Toronto always has traffic.
Yeah. Well, what is in the States? Is it New York, the city that never sleeps?
Yeah.
I think that's what I think that's the saying. That's Toronto for Canada. Yeah. Like the highway, if you've ever driven the 401 in Toronto at nighttime, like nighttime when it's actually dark out, that highway, it doesn't even seem like it's dark out because they got such bright lights down the center and it's like 6-7 lanes on each side. Yeah, it looks like it's daytime. That's how bright these lights are. I don't know if you have you ever driven it with me? No? Yeah. Anyway, it's crazy.
So what time did you actually end up getting there because of the traffic?
Yeah, I left at about 1 o'clock from Ottawa, drove down, and I took the 401 through like Kingston, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for most of the ride until I got to about Brighton, which is an hour and a half to 2 hours from downtown Toronto. Okay. Then traffic just like stopped. It was off and on. We'd be stopped, like completely stopped for a little while, and then back up to like 120, 130, and then stopped again. So like it did that for a while until finally I got there, and I showed up probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock, which means it took me around 6.5 to 7 hours when really it should have only taken me like 4.5 to 5 hours. So yeah, traffic was a little crazy once we started getting closer to Toronto. We stayed at the Hotel X is what it was called. It's a newer hotel. It's considered a luxury hotel. They got luxury prices too, because I did look them up. I did look them up. Like the average room is about $600 to $700 a night.
What? Was this room really nice?
In the bedroom, it honestly wasn't anything extraordinary. I've stayed at hotels that had nicer rooms for better prices. All right. So this is what we got. This is what we're dealing with. But I think it was more the fact that it was right central downtown Toronto.
Oh, the location.
The location, yes. And also the amenities that they had. Like, they had everything. Like, they had any, like, thing you could think of, a massive, like, full-on gym. They had tennis courts. They had, like, everything.
All this inside of this hotel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's part of the reason you're paying those prices, because they had all those things and the location. But anyway, that was your average room. When I looked it up, I seen rooms above $1,000 a night.
That's probably for your presidential suites, though.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, the hotel had 29 floors. I was booked already, and my room was already prepared. I was on the 11th floor, but my view was very nice. So I checked in, went upstairs to my room, opened the door, and seen that I was looking out towards the CN Tower.
Oh, that's nice. Then. You got lucky, because I noticed when people arrive, because I used to work at a hotel, and when people would arrive late, all the good rooms were already taken. Yeah. Like, some hotels, they already kind of pre-book your rooms. Person already assigned your room to you before you even knew that you were getting that specific room, because that's what a lot of hotels do.
But some is first come, first serve.
Yeah.
So, like, if you show up early, you may get the good room.
Or you can switch and be like, oh, can I have one with a better view? And they're like, sure.
Yeah, and then you just swap the names.
Yeah.
Then you screw over the other person that was supposed to get it.
We should have gotten there on time.
But yeah, so I mean, my view was very nice. I was looking over top of like Lake Ontario. There was a little like landing strip, so I seen some planes taking off. That wasn't the airport, obviously, but it was a little landing strip that they had that I've never actually even seen before. I guess never really paid attention as I was driving through. But yeah, my view was looking out. There was no high-rise buildings directly across from me.
So you had a really good view then.
Yeah.
Not like you were looking into someone else's hotel.
Yeah, like the high-rise buildings were like kind of in the distance, and then you see the CN Tower from there. So it was very nice. It was a very nice side of the building that I got to stay on. Yeah. We all went to like this kind of like hall, I guess they had up on the 28th floor. It was all glass windows. There was also an outside patio. But yeah, this is where we had dinner, free drinks, all that stuff. We had our own like caterers and bartender. And yeah, so we had dinner up there until about 9 o'clock is when we left there. And then we went over to another section, still on the 28th floor, but this was more public.
How big is this hotel?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it was on another section of the 28th floor, and it had an outdoor pool, like rooftop pool on the 28th floor, and then just off to the side of that there was a another bar, right? So we had drinks there for the rest of the night, hung out outside by the pool, and yeah, it was a good experience.
Yeah. So I want to know more about the electrical vehicles, because, you know, we already made a video talking about the Jetsons, and that's where we're heading. So tell us about Mercedes electrical. Anything you can tell us. I want to know.
So
are they turning what is it called? Mercedes wagon, or what's that?
The G-Wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are making a G-Wagon that is going to be electric. And they have not released it just yet, but I did get to see pictures of it, and I do know kind of a little bit about it. Each wheel is going to have its own motor, so it's going to still be very powerful. So the AMG model, the G63 is what the AMG is. But yeah, each wheel is going to have a designated motor turning that wheel, right, and powering it. But basically, if you don't know much about electric vehicles, the entire bottom of the vehicle is a battery. Well,
Is that goes for every electrical vehicle, like
yeah.
Teslas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically in between the wheels from the front to the back, it's like, well, it's multiple small batteries inside this large like compartment that they make one large battery. Like, have you ever seen old like phone batteries? It's like a rectangle.
Yeah.
That's basically what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
But there's smaller cells within that.
So you got to test drive a couple of cars. I remember that right before you left, you're like, yep, that's what I'm doing. And you were all excited. So are they powerful?
Yeah.
Are they?
So there was a whole bunch of people that showed up to this event, and we were split up into 4 groups, kind of. And my group, like, we were each supposed to have 8 people. My group ended up having 7 people. So we learned different things. We did different things inside the training. I don't even know what you would call this place, but anyway, we did a bunch of different things inside, learning kind of about them, and then we got to actually go out and drive them. So there was 4 different vehicles on the first day that each individual group got to go out with. So we went out for an hour and a half. But because there was only 7 of us, as soon as he's like, oh, well, one person's going to have to be alone then, I was like, dibs, I'll take it.
Whoa.
Because so basically what the plan was 2 people per vehicle. We drive for a little bit, and then we switch vehicles. So like they had 4 different models, right? Like they had the EQS sedan, they had the EQS SUV, and then they had like the different engine or motor sizes. So yeah, like you have a 580, you have the 450, right? So different power.
Yeah.
Like they'll produce different power and be faster vehicles. So anyway, I called dibs, got to be alone, and instead of when we switched vehicles, those other people that were paired up had to switch drivers, right? I didn't have to. So I switched vehicles, but I got to drive the next vehicle, right? So I got to literally drive all 4 of them. So literally for an hour and a half, I tested out 4 different vehicles, and we drove around the city, different areas, but then we also got to go with each individual vehicle is where we changed drivers, was on private property. So on that private property, the guy that was kind of like, we were in like a convoy and he led. So the guy that was kind of doing the training, and we had little walkie-talkies in the car, and he was basically telling us the different features. Hey, like try this out, do this, check this out. Yeah, he was telling us different things. But when we got onto that private property, he's like, all right, so I'm going to get you guys to pull up to this stop sign and wait a couple seconds for the vehicle ahead of you. But what I want you to do is put the pedal to the floor and test it out. Just see how much power these things actually have, right? And because combustion engines, there's a lot of moving parts, right? There's a lot of moving parts, and things take time. Like, yes, they do take off still fairly quickly, but the amount of torque in the electric vehicles, because electricity is way faster than waiting for fuel to come from the fuel like tank to the injectors, then make that combustion and then turn the pistons and all that stuff, right? But the electricity is instant.
So you took off, basically.
Oh yeah, like you feel
That's what you did with your head. You went backwards.
Yeah, you literally feel the vehicle like pull, and it takes off. Like, I think I went from 0, and I finally started slowing down when I got to about 130, 140. I think that's somewhere where I was, but that literally only took me like 4 seconds.
Wow.
0 to 130, 140 in like 4 seconds. And then I already made it a fair distance, so I was like, okay, we're going to start slowing down. But yeah, that was in the EQS SUV that I actually watched the speed. The other ones I wasn't really paying attention. I was just kind of enjoying it. But that one there, I remember watching it and actually filmed the small part of it. Right? I set up my phone and and I wanted to see actually what it did. I mean, one thing that's kind of cool in the electric vehicles is the regenerative braking. So basically, it regenerates the battery and will give you a little bit extra power.
This is in the Mercedes?
Tesla does it too.
Oh, okay.
But basically, you don't even need to even use your brake. You can do like a one pedal drive is what they call it.
What does that mean?
So you're literally, all you have to use is the gas. So you can turn the mode off. You can turn regenerative braking off or regenerative mode. You can turn it completely off and you'll feel like there's no resistance at all. But if you turn that on, once you let go of the gas, the vehicle will actually start slowing down on its own. And basically what it's doing, it's putting the motor in kind of reverse and recharging
that's really
the battery, right? And it slows down the vehicle as a result, basically. So basically, as you're coming up behind someone, you just let go of the gas and it'll start slowing down for you. And you don't even need to hit the brake.
Wow.
Right? So that'll increase your range. And I feel like range is something that most people, I think that's the biggest thing people are scared of when they think of electric vehicles. Like, will I have enough battery to make it to where I need to go?
Well, yeah, no one wants to get stuck in no man's land.
Well, no, I get that. But I feel like now that I've experienced it, and I thought this too, I honestly, I had a lot of questions. And I didn't know anything really about them, right? About electric vehicles, I didn't know. And I thought there was a lot of negatives to it. But now that I've experienced it and I learned more about it, I'm more accepting of it. Because if you really think about it, in a gas vehicle, right?
Okay.
It's the same thing. You have a gas tank and it depletes as you start driving. If you press the gas too hard, you're going to use more gas. If you are driving in midwinter and it's minus 30 degrees Celsius and you got your heat on, you're going to use more gas. If you're driving in the summer and it's plus 30 degrees Celsius and you're using your AC, you're going to use more gas.
So is the battery going to deplete more, though, in the wintertime? Because our winter is like negative 30, 40.
I mean, there is a feature in the vehicles, and I don't know if this is for other brands, other models, but you can precondition the battery, right? So it'll use the starter battery and the auxiliary battery to heat up the main battery, right? Like the large battery underneath the vehicle. It'll heat that up a little bit in the wintertime. So then once you start the battery, it's not like frozen and it's at the optimal temperature for you to get the optimal range. And in the summertime, it'll also cool it down, right? There is that feature. It preconditions the battery so you will still get the optimum performance out of the battery and the optimal range that you want, basically. But the average range for a vehicle, for the ones that I got to experience, is around 400 kilometers, right? So you can't do a full trip. Like from Ottawa, where I left to drive to Toronto, it's about 500 kilometers, roughly, give or take. 5 to 5.5. You would need to stop somewhere and charge. 100%. Some vehicles, like I was able to make it all the way there in the gas-powered vehicle with a full tank of gas. I did not need to stop, right? I needed to stop after I got there. But with an electric vehicle, I would have had to stop somewhere. And I feel like that's people's biggest thing and why they're so hesitant to jump into electric. It's like, on my trip, I need to stop, and how long does it take me to charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I going to need to sit around for half an hour, 2 hours? Like,
Yeah.
people don't know these things, right? And they have a lot of questions. There are different chargers that have different capabilities. Like, you have your level 2, your level 3 chargers, right? And one will charge faster than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're going to pay a little bit more for the faster charge, but I think the infrastructure is just not where it needs to be just yet, right? Like, gas stations are everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but we've also been doing this for 100 years,
Yeah.
right? So in time, the infrastructure will be built and there will be chargers everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get better at it. Whereas a full charge, let's say at a level 3 charger, takes 2 hours right now. I'm just throwing out random numbers. Let's just say in a year or two, maybe it'll only take an hour because they'll get better at the way the vehicle takes in the charge,
Yeah.
and it'll be faster. And as technology grows, things will get easier, and they'll iron out the little kinks.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I wait for our cars to start flying, like in the Jetsons. And then when you could press the button, I don't know if you ever saw this episode of the Jetsons where I'm gonna see if I can find it, where he pressed the button and his car actually turned into a briefcase.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's no more traffic. There's no need to park anywhere because now your car is now your briefcase, and you hit your briefcase and it opens and turns into your car, and then boom, you're back in the air and you're flying.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
One day we'll
Like
be
where-
Transformers out here.
yeah. Anyway,
So what features did the Mercedes electrical vehicles have compared to the gas when you were driving? Like, are the features still the same, or like, is there something that's actually, like, to me, worth it to switch?
it is kind of all the same. Everything is the same except for the way it's being charged, or the way it powers. Like, there's no physical engine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a motor, a little bit different. The dash in that one, it was a full like screen. So you had your heads-up display. You had so the heads-up display kind of displays on the windshield.
Oh, that's really
right in front of you, and it's kind of looks like almost like a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your normal dash, and then you have your infotainment center, like the middle screen that almost every vehicle has nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But then this one here actually had a third screen on the dash for specifically the passenger.
Oh, wow.
So the passenger has one literally right in front of them.
Mm-hmm. What can you do with that, though? Like, what can the passenger just control the temperature,
You control music, temperature. You can put in your destination. Like, you have access to the navigation system. You have access to your massage seats. So you can
Hold on, Mercedes got massage seats?
yes, air cooled and massaged.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what luxury prices get you.
Yes.
Massage.
Yes.
seats.
A very smooth ride because the suspension is very, very nice. So you don't barely feel any bumps. A very quiet cabin, right? So you don't hear any road noise, things like that. And then massage seats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And then
interesting.
the air cooled for the summertime, heated seats, which is kind of almost standard in a lot of vehicles nowadays. But the air cooled is definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
That is very nice for a super hot day. You hop into a leather seat vehicle. You know what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you turn on your air cooled seats and away you go.
Wow.
But yeah, the massage seats, I mean, it's not like a super deep massage that you would get if you went to a
No,
massage
but still,
parlor.
a car has massage seats.
But it's still relaxing. It feels nice, and hopefully you don't fall asleep. But
Wow.
yeah.
That is, I've never heard of that. I've never been in a luxury car, so I don't know. But that's actually really cool that they have that.
Yeah. And like there's other features too, like you can go into like energizing comfort mode where you can choose like different mood kind of you want to set, and it'll change like the ambient lighting. The whole dash kind of lights up different, like a rainforest type vibe.
Okay. Can it self-drive too, or?
Yes.
All right. So how many people want a Mercedes after watching?
Yes. Not all of them, but yeah, the EQS SUV and the EQS sedan both had that feature.
Wow. I'm gonna have to look at my budget. Can I afford a Mercedes?
I mean, these vehicles here were probably 150, if not more. 150,000. 150,000. If not more.
Yeah.
Maybe up into the 200,000 Canadian dollars. But yeah, basically you put it on that energizing comfort. And I don't know if there's another way to turn it on. This is just how I found it out.
Yeah.
I put it on energizing comfort, and then all of a sudden, the first turn that I went to go make, it started to steer for me. I was like, oh, okay then.
Wow.
That's kind of cool. And it does a really good job. You can also put it on intelligent drive.
Okay.
So you can have it on regenerative braking. You can have it on normal, which kind of feels like a normal vehicle. You can have it on no regeneration or intelligent drive. So intelligent drive, it will brake for you.
Yeah. So basically self-drive.
It basically drives completely by itself. It'll stop.
It's just called a different name.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll stop for you. Like if someone's at a stop sign ahead of you and you're coming up towards them, you don't need to press the brake at all. It will stop completely for you. And then you just need to press the gas again and take off.
Wow. That's actually really cool.
It is a little scary. And the guy that was doing the training, he was telling us just trust it. But it was a little scary because like you're coming up behind this vehicle at 60, 70 kilometers an hour. And because it's trying to regenerate the battery, it's waiting till like almost the last second.
So it's kind of like how I drive. Just wait till the last second until you stop.
Yeah. So it's trying to get the most speed, and it's trying to slow the vehicle down as quickly as possible, like at the last second, to recharge the battery as much as possible. Right? Because if it goes slower and it stops way ahead of time, it's not going to recharge as much, right? So it's literally waiting to the last second.
I feel like these new cars are really requiring a lot of trust from humans. Like these computers are like, just trust us.
Yeah.
Trust us. Trust the robot.
It is true.
So did you have fun though at the end? Or
I did have a lot of fun. It was a very good experience. And basically what I know now compared to what I didn't know and the questions I had prior to going to this, I would consider buying an electric vehicle.
Wow.
Prior to this, definitely not. I had too many questions. I had too many, I guess, objections towards it. But now that I've got to actually experience it and actually learn about it, I don't see too many negatives. And from what I've told you about it, do you think you would consider one?
Depending on what my budget, because I kind of want a Mercedes now. I want those massage seats and the self-drive.
Yep. Trust me, it is nice. Yeah. I definitely had that on every time I was driving it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous. All right. So that's it for this Thing of Ours podcast. Thank you for tuning in on a Sunday. Let us know.
Or whatever day you're actually watching this on.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But it's Sunday for us.
I know. I always think that people are listening on a Sunday. I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, whatever day you're listening to this, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Answer our social Q questions that we always leave on Spotify. And yeah, the conversation doesn't end with just me and Kurtis. It includes you guys. So come along and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.